Alright, it's day 193 of this ginger germination experiment, and I did some pruning to make the appearance of these older shoot systems more aesthetic, although you can still see yellowing in some places. I'm not sure that a full recovery is warranted in shoot systems like this one. I just don't think it can happen. You know, the spider mites have really devastated these shoot systems, and the green lines on the leaves have kept receding. So it's been very worrisome, but I think I can turn the tide this week. And all the promise here is in the bottom of the pot with all these new shoot systems. So some of them have been struggling too and have required a little bit of pruning. First I'm going to give you a pruning demo, then I'm going to water with some Miracle-Gro fertilizer to promote more vegetative growth. So ginger pruning is a very delicate task that takes a lot of time and care. In some cases I'm peeling down the stalks like here and just chopping away, and what that does is it benefits the plant greatly by removing dead leaves that sheathe the stalk and expose green stalk underneath that can photosynthesize. And since ginger is a very slow growing slowpoke plant, every little bit of photosynthesis really helps. And I cut away the unsightly dead margins, and that also helps in removing dead spider mites, spider mite eggs, larval spider mites that might be crawling around on those regions. It's better to get rid of dead zones, especially if they curl upon themselves, because all that's going to do is serve as a hiding place that's hard to spray with insecticide or hydrogen peroxide. And for this shoot system that I just touched, right now, that one might be a goner because it has virtually no leaves on it, just a stalk. So we'll see what happens. And for the rest of this stuff, it's just very, very time consuming, and there's no way to get it perfect. But for now, I just want to help the plants out a little bit and improve the aesthetics of the overall situation, kind of boost my own morale from this devastating spider mite infestation over the last 2 months. I've really seen a decline in the quality of the foliage. So now I'm going to pour in some liquid fertilizer and 2 liters of water. It's just one of those single packets from Miracle-Gro Singles. It differs from the Bloom Booster in that it only has 8% phosphorus content versus 30%. Nitrogen and potassium are the same. So I'm not quite sure which product is better for boosting rapid vegetative growth. I used a lot of Bloom Booster for my honeydew, and that actually stopped the blooming and promoted rapid explosive vegetative growth for over a month. I should also note that 48 hours ago at night I sprayed 0.05% beta cyfluthrin from Bayer Advanced, and hopefully that killed off all the spider mites. Okay, so this is the final product. It looks a little bit better than before, but not by much. Just the yellowing itself and not the regular leaf shape now is what really bugs me. I'm hoping for a good recovery. Some people say that within half a day your leaves should start greening again after spraying with insecticide, but a lot of these leaves are way too far gone for that to happen. Okay, it's day 196, and I'm very glad to report that the green margins of all the diseased leaves haven't receded from where I last pruned. So that's very, very promising. On this right side of Big Bertha, everything's almost gone. And you have some casualties here as well. There's like one shoot system that's basically just a beanpole with nothing on it. But the stuff over here looks pretty good, and that's very promising. That means that the beta cyfluthrin and all the hydrogen peroxide sprayings and the wipings have finally gotten rid of the majority of the spider mites. This is what I was calling plant number 1. It had one shoot system for a really long time. It has a new shoot now, but this original one was much bigger, and it's been completely defoliated. There's a little bit of green there, but otherwise it looks like a dead piece of straw. And I think this plant has almost no chance of making a rhizome by winter. I think this is shoot system number 2. It has 5 shoot systems now, just like the other one that I was calling 3, but 2 are more mottled or yellow-green in the lower base of the stems, and the other 3 are kind of a lush green, very verdant. So I'm assuming those are the new ones, and they're not doing too bad. For young shoot systems, oftentimes the new leaves that are trying to unfold out of the previous leaf, those can become brittle and break. And in some cases I had to prune away what was dying tissue on the top. So that stuff on top looks kind of dead. That's where I made a direct cut before and it regrew. So there's just a continual funnel or cone of leaves coming out from the root system and going skyward. Wow, I think this shoot system from plant number 1 is just dead. It just flings around like it's basically detached or attached by a thread at the base ready to break off. So now I'm going to use a 0.6% final concentration solution of hydrogen peroxide. It's a 5-fold dilution from store-bought 3% solutions. And I'm going to focus on the undersides of these leaves, although I'm going to get everything too. And basically I just hold them in place and spray with a stronger spray than before. I used to have it kind of on a very gentle, cloudy mist spraying like that. And you don't want that because it's too gentle. So now I'm adjusting. Yeah, so if you can get a strong spray like that with just a smaller surface area, you'll get a lot more force with your sprays and knock off physically a lot of the spider mites. And that really helped in the case of honeydew in this last week. You'll never get rid of 100% of the spider mites ever, because as soon as you kill them, new ones will emerge from the soil, and if you kill those too, they'll just drift in from the wild. Like spiderlings, they can let out little strands of silk and just drift away in the slightest bit of wind. So they're found throughout the wild, and they're certainly going to attack your plants. There are thousands of species all over the world, and you can't even see them until the leaves start yellowing, which is great danger.